Good morning, dear brothers and sisters. Also, all the ones who are watching through Zoom. So, the title today is Peace in a Busy World. I was thinking a lot about what I could share today with all of you. It's a bit too high. And I wanted to share something that hopefully somebody can get something out of these messages, some thoughts that I've been having. And how many of you have felt stressed or too busy this past week? It's something that happens so much, happens all the time. It's responsibilities, or it's children, or it's work, or studies, or new things in life, like me starting a new job. It can give many new impressions and bring many new emotions up. And often also between people, like comparing ourselves to others, or like things that take away our peace simply. And I thought maybe it's a bit ironic to speak of peace while we know about your mother's situation, in a very difficult situation. And then I was thinking more deeply, and I thought, actually, it doesn't help your mother if we don't continue to have hope. Because peace was one of the main messages that your parents brought their whole lives, that everything they did was in the name of peace, was to bring peace to the world, to bring peace to ourselves, to bring peace to families. And something I noticed was the title of both autobiographies from two parents have the word peace in it. That's the one common word in the titles, the mother of peace, or as a peace-loving global citizen. So that is really one of the core things that your parents have lived for. And surely your mother doesn't want us to let go of that. She is being really strong in this situation. And so I thought, hopefully in this way we can connect with her. And even when we try to rest, often our phones are like buzzing. It's hard to like turn off in this world because there's, these are the autobiographies, because there's so much stuff that could disturb us. Things that are things to buy, things to do. But something hopeful is that God has never left us without peace. Peace is always here, and it's up to us if we take that in our lives, if we decide to have peace, if we find that peace. It's always up to us, that option. And true parents have shown us many ways in which we can reach that, even if often in everyday life it feels overwhelming. And God offers really a peace. Our heavenly parents, they give a peace that is much deeper than our circumstances, much deeper than our stress. And it can really overcome that overwhelming feeling we have. And the world nowadays tells us through all ways possible that peace comes through external things, like a holiday, or having financial security, or buying new things, or finding success, or having a good job. But those things are almost like pouring water into a cracked jar. It's something that if the jar isn't complete, those things won't last inside it. They will run out again. And so those things are things that can leak out easily again on the other side. And it's funny, while I was preparing this sermon, there came a phone call to me of a random number. I didn't know who it was. Normally I don't pick up, but now because of work, sometimes random numbers call me, and so I picked up. And it was somebody telling me I just won 17,000 euros. I didn't fall into it, but I don't know what I would have had to do for them to simply, send me 17,000 euros. But it really came the thought to me, this is how so many people are looking for peace. Somebody phones you 17,000 euros, or the person on the other side of the phone. I almost wanted to say to him, please, you can keep it. Like, it's something so... People think that really through money, their lives might become better. It's something so easy to fall into that thought, but it's really something that, like the cracked jar, it doesn't last if we ourselves haven't found really our internal peace yet, our real connection with Heavenly Parent. And through Father, I don't know where I have to point this. True Father, a quote from True Father, he says, "The peace the world seeks is external and temporary, but true peace begins when God dwells in our hearts and guides our relationships." And I think this is a very good definition of what peace can really be. And often the problem isn't even, like I said before, that we're busy, but it's often that we try to fill ourselves with the wrong things. And we confuse this temporary comfort with a real peace that we could have. And peace to Heavenly Parent is, at the moment especially, probably not the 100% absence of problems, because we can see how the world is, and probably that's the long-term goal, that it's a life without so many of the corrupt problems we see nowadays. But at the moment, it's His daily presence in our life, and that I really was reflecting on, that it's our daily connection with Heavenly Parents that's at the moment our daily peace. Because otherwise, what is peace? Like, otherwise it's not possible to achieve at the current times. And I was looking at the Hebrew word shalom. It's the word for peace, and it means actually a lot more than just no conflict. It's a much deeper word. It means wholeness, harmony, and balance, like with God, with ourselves, and with others. It's a much deeper word than the word peace in English or other languages. And it can mean peace with God, like through prayer, aligning with His will, peace with ourselves, not being constantly enslaved by anxiety, guilt, or constant comparison with others, and peace with others, the people around us, living with forgiveness, with empathy, with harmony, and harmony in the family and in the community. And our whole unification family, and of course, most of all, True Mother is going through a very difficult time at the moment. The world is going through hard times. In many countries, we know the situation is not nice. And it's a time when peace seems even more distant than other times, when there's war, when there's so much conflict and difficulty. And sometimes I really start to, when you hear things every day, you start to wonder what will happen next. And it sometimes really seems as if people with power and with money can do what they want, in a way. But being hopeless doesn't bring us any further either. And it's so important that we don't lose this hope for True Mother and for Korea, for other nations, for humanity, for our families. It's important that we keep on to this hope, and this hope for peace. And peace doesn't need to be something abstract. It can really be where we're living and in what we're living at the moment. I read recently a phrase that quite stuck with me. It was, "You will never feel ready," because to be ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. And I found that quite relatable, because I would say that I maybe never feel ready for many things, and it's because it's a decision. Some challenging things in life we maybe never feel ready for, but it's a decision. I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to be ready. And when you think like that, it's more like I'm actually in control and not the situations or circumstances that control me. I decide if I'm ready or not. And I thought it can be the same with peace. It can be, we can say that inner peace doesn't necessarily only need to be a feeling, but it can be a decision. It can start with concrete action steps. True Father, even when he was in prison, for example in Danbury, he always tried to be someone who brings light to the place. in all the times he was going through extreme difficulties, he always tried to be the light in that really dark surroundings. And in the autobiography, in one place, he calls it spring. And he says, once we could share our hearts, it was as if spring had come to the inside of the prison. That was when he was in Danbury in the US. And this was when, after 1 or 2 months, he actually became friends with other prisoners and with some of the guards because of his way of being, because the way the people saw how he was acting in that environment. And his way of being someone who brings joy to other people and trying to maintain focus on his life principles, even in that prison environment. And we actually don't know most of the time what your father was really feeling inside. But his actions showed a joy and a light and the spring, trying to bring spring to people. We don't know what he was feeling inside. Maybe it also wasn't the peace, the extreme peace, for sure not inside a prison. But he decided, I'm in control and it's my decision, I will bring peace. I will bring spring to this place. And that was his decision. And I think it's important if we can keep that in mind, that we can think that I am so responsible actually for my environment, for my relationships with people. How do I perceive the things that are happening around me? We don't know if he was feeling really a frustration for the situation or just this really boundless love for the people around him. And often he calls this, he links it to living for the sake of others, this peace. That's when we really care for others' needs or look at other people's suffering first before our own, and then we can really become these channels of peace for other people. We can become God's instruments for peace in a world that doesn't know so much peace, in a world where power and money is often more important. Often in my head, peace was a state in which everything was at peace, like the first image that was shown there, or this beautiful tree that's on the photo where everything is perfect. But it's actually not necessarily that state. Peace doesn't mean that life is always easy or that there are no challenges, but it means that we stay close to Heavenly Parents even when things are hard. And that can be a much deeper meaning of the word peace. And also in the Intro Mother's autobiography, The Mother of Peace, she says, to go through spiritual struggles is in fact an extremely precious blessing. Only when you overcome these trials can you be reborn as a true person. And I would like to read now 2 quotes also from the Mother of Peace. If I had only experienced joyful things, I would never have been able to look into the deepest, innermost hearts of people. I would never have known the joys of the kingdom of heaven. I have gone through the deepest hell and experienced every kind of bitterness in life. God wanted me to train myself. What I needed was unwavering faith, strong will, and perseverance. That is how I have come this far. No matter who you are on the path to the kingdom of heaven, you will not experience only sweetness and joy. To go through spiritual struggles is in fact an extremely precious blessing. Through them you can feel the grace of God. Only when you overcome these trials can you be reborn as a true person. The fruit of endurance will grow and ripen within you and one day become the source of your deepest pride. So this fruit that she talks about at the end, the fruit of this endurance that will grow and ripen, I think one of those fruits could for sure be peace. That after we overcome the trials and difficulties or the things we're facing in life, the things that don't bring us peace, the challenges, if we overcome those, then the fruit of that for us is surely peace. And when we go through those life's trials with faith, then we can gain a peace that no circumstances can take away because it's our decision that we made. It's a peace of someone who knows that God is with me, even here, even now. And yeah, I find it interesting that beautiful, of course, also interesting that the True Mother's autobiography is called The Mother of Peace, because even when you read the title Mother of Peace, you can imagine it's surely somebody who went through a lot of difficulty in life. It wasn't a peaceful life to earn the title Mother of Peace. It's surely somebody who experienced war, who experienced all kinds of difficulties in life, and still continues experiencing difficulties. What could be some practical steps to cultivate peace? Could be to pause and to pray in certain moments of stress, or to simplify things and prioritize things. I have, for example, many things to do, and I decide that I start out with this one and then I do this one, and maybe start with a prayer, start the day with a Hondoke. Maybe it already helps to find a bigger peace and to build structure in the day, for example. Another important point where we could practically bring peace into our lives is really to feed on truth and not anxiety or fear. Nowadays, a lot of the things that go around is on social media. We never know if they're true or not, and sometimes they're more the red alarms, more bombing news, trying to bring sensation to people, and we don't know necessarily if that's the truth or not. And it brings anxiety and it brings worry, and it's much more important and much more strengthening for us to feed on truth. And so much better than that would be, for example, to read some words, for example, recent words from True Mother. That brings a lot more strength into our lives than reading a lot of sensation media. Or to heal relationships could also be an important step. And often it doesn't even mean to do a lot practically, but sometimes just the forgiveness inside of us. I got over that, and I now will let go of this bitterness, for example. That already can change a lot in a relationship, in a family. And yeah, True Father says peace is not possible when we only live for ourselves alone. Only living for the sake of others can that peace really be established. And when people around us see someone who is calm in the middle of a chaos, it makes them curious. How are you like that? It shows them, though, that there is another way. And maybe we can also be that example for people, just like true parents are that example. We can try to embody that in our lives. And our families can also be a testimony for people. In today's world, so many families are in difficulty, are fragmented, and people are living in loneliness and conflict. And maybe we can try to have such families where people say, your family is different, you have something. So that can also be something really nice. It can also be a way of us contributing peace to the world. True Father, he emphasizes always that the family is the school of love, and then he also always brings that if there is peace in the family, peace will spread to the society, the nation, and the world. He always says it in those levels because it can really spread like that people see, okay, there's something there, and that peace can spread then to other people. And that means when you create peace in your home, then in a way you're already contributing to world peace. Because that really has an effect, the ripple effect of the water. When you drop one stone, makes many circles. Right now in Korea, or Asia in general, they're celebrating Chuseok. It's the Korean Thanksgiving. And it's apparently one of the most beloved holidays in Korea, and a time when many families return to their hometowns and prepare special foods and enjoy together. And they give thanks to Heavenly Parents for all the blessings that they earned, that they received, all the blessings also from their ancestors. And it's a very important day there, and it's also the day when the moon is full, as you see on this picture. So it's also often very beautiful when the sky is clear. And this holiday can really is symbolizing completeness and harmony. And of course, giving thanks, most of all, for the things that were given to us. And it's really about appreciation and connection and peace within the family. And when I think always more deeply about peace, I realize also it's so connected to gratitude, to this giving thanks. Because when we are actually thankful, there's space for peace in us. When we're not thankful, when there's no gratitude, there's also no space for peace. And so it's one of the sources, can be one of the sources of peace. It makes our hearts simply more quiet and opens our hearts. And it also reminds us that we're not alone, that we are thankful because of all the things we receive, all the things that are always given to us. So these are the points that I had talked about before. To some practical points about peace. I hope that each of you could take something out of this message. We could take time to pause and pray, or to simplify the schedule, or choose truth over anxiety, and to practice peace in our workplaces, in our families, in our relationships. Because it's not something that we just wait for. It's an active decision. It's something we create together, something together with Heavenly Parents in every decision that we make. Thank you very much, and wish you all a good week.